we always look forward to about this time each and every weekday when we get to be treated to a chat with Pat.
Yes, and today we have with us Katie Warner. Katie is wife, mom of 5, homeschooler, and children's book author, and she writes from Georgia. And we're talking about an article she wrote for the National Catholic Register, 5 Family Ideas for Advent. Welcome, Katie. Good to have you on.
It's so great to be on with you this morning, Pat. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for taking the time. It sounds like you're a busy woman. So tell us a little bit about your ideas for Advent. But before you do that, have you always tried to focus on Advent differently, the season differently, or did this start with children? How did this all come about for you?
Yeah, St. Bernard of Clairvaux has a beautiful quote where he says, "It's fitting, my brethren, that we should celebrate this season of Advent with all possible devotion." And I remember when we did start having children, obviously that just made us even more intentional about wanting to bring Advent traditions into the home. And what's amazing is there are so many. I actually wrote an article for the Register last year about 7 ways to celebrate Advent as a family. And then my editor circled back and said, "Can you do even more this year?" And I said, "Yeah, no problem. There's so many. I could never exhaust the opportunities to talk about what we can do to celebrate Advent." So really every year we have certain staple traditions, and then from year to year we'll sometimes add in some other traditions for the season that year, because there's just so many rich and meaningful things that you can do to really help prepare your heart for Christ coming at Christmas.
Well, in your article, you just make reference to what you wrote last year. The Jesse tree, the Advent wreath. A lot of families might do that, but I do want to. The giving manger was something I was not. I don't think I know what that is. I have some ideas, but can you tell us quickly what that is before we get into your 5
absolutely.
fresh ideas?
Yes. Yeah, because this is one of my kids' favorites. So the giving manger really helps increase our works of charity during Advent, and it involves placing a little piece of hay in Christ's manger. We have just a very simple wooden manger, and the kids will place a piece of hay in Christ's manger for every charitable work that they do as part of this tradition of making the Christ child's bed more comfortable with our love and good work. So as they go about their day, they might make their siblings' bed and then run and put hay in the manger. Or if they, obey mommy really quickly and right away, they'll go put hay in the manger, and just find little opportunities during the day, or even to make a sacrifice. They might sacrifice a toy they want to play with or something, or sacrifice snacking. My older son is doing that during Advent this year, and as he sacrifices snacks, he adds hay in the manger. And so then we have this beautiful little wooden crib that's full of hay to help bring comfort to Jesus when we add his figurine in there on Christmas.
Now, do they have to say what they've done, or they just do it on their own?
The big ones do it on their own, and the little ones love to announce that they've done a good deed. So I would say it's age dependent there.
All right, good deal. Well, tell us about some of your new ideas that's in the articles.
Yeah, absolutely. So this year's article featured, first of all, decorating and dressing liturgically. So a lot of us put up Christmas decorations during the Advent season, but I just mentioned that if you put up a Christmas tree, for example, consider keeping the tree trimmings really simple to reflect this season of waiting and preparation. So one of the things we do, because my husband loves lights on the tree, I'll string purple lights on during Advent, and we'll put purple ribbon around the tree. And then when we get to Christmas Eve, we take down the purple ribbon and the purple lights, and we put up the white ones and the gold ribbon and all of the ornaments on Christmas Eve. And it just helps us really kind of differentiate the seasons of Advent and Christmas. And then one of the ways we can do that too, especially as a family, is by dressing liturgically when we go to Mass. A lot of my kids enjoy wearing purple on certain Sundays of Advent, or switching up the wardrobes to rose on the third Sunday of Advent, Gaudete Sunday. They think it's fun to match the priest and to match all the liturgical vestments and attire in the Mass. So that's just one simple way. Another, about the Christmas tree as well, another idea is to bless the Christmas tree. We all decorate our trees, but not all of us bless them, right? So blessing the tree, the Christmas tree, can show gratitude to God and really sets it apart as something special in the home. And it's really easy to find a Christmas tree blessing online that you can pray together as a family. And there's also some fun storybooks that you can read about the Christmas tree to kind of round out the tradition with a picture book and a prayer and make it something really memorable for your family.
Oh, that's great. Now, you talked about Advent prayers too, right?
Right, yes, yeah. I was going to just jump into one of our favorite Advent traditions. Pat, is praying the St. Andrew Christmas Novena. Most people are familiar with novenas as 9-day prayers, but the St. Andrew Christmas Novena is unique. It actually begins on his feast day on November 30th, but it's not too late to join, and then it concludes on Christmas Eve. And every day you recite this novena 15 times. It's about the length of a Hail Mary and actually starts with the word Hail. And it's a beautiful prayer. You can actually find it printed in the article that we're talking about online that I wrote for the Register, 5 Family Ideas for Advent. And It's just such a beautiful prayer. And as you pray that every day, it really gives you the opportunity, the intentional opportunity every day to be reflecting on Christ coming at Christmas, at midnight in Bethlehem in the piercing cold. And then you can also add your intentions, obviously, as you do to any novena, and be praying throughout the entire Advent season for unique intentions that you essentially lay at the Christ child's feet. And then another great one is the O antiphons. These are traditional scriptural prayers that are said in the week leading up to Christmas Eve. I always have to set myself a reminder so I don't miss it coming on about the 17th, yes. I believe it is. And these prayers feature 7 titles of the Messiah found in the book of Isaiah. They're prayed during Vespers, so it's very common for priests and religious to pray these, but they can also be prayed in our homes. And my children love, we have little kind of plaques that we replace each day on the dinner table. So many great Catholic, creators now have antiphon little printables that you can have on your table that come with the prayers and even serve as decorations on the table as you lead up to Christmas Eve.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. And you also mentioned Saints' Days because there's lots of them during the season of Advent.
Right. I know. That was my favorite thing to kind of bring back for this next year with ideas. Last year, I mentioned talking about the Feast of St. Nicholas, which a lot of Catholic families already do by putting their shoes out on the mantle and having little treats from, to remind us of St. Nicholas' generosity on his feast day. St. Lucia is a great day to go see Christmas lights because St. Lucia is known as the Saint of Light. And then there's so many more saint days in December. St. Juan Diego's feast day and Our Lady of Guadalupe's feast day fall in December. My kids love celebrating with Mexican hot chocolate, and we also put roses on the table to remind us of the miraculous roses in St. Juan Diego's tilma. Another really fun one is to celebrate the Feast of Our Lady of Loreto by making gingerbread houses that day. This is one that I realize that a lot of families already do during the holiday seasons, is to make gingerbread houses, but do it on the Feast of Our Lady of Loreto and then share the story about the Holy House. For those of you that don't know the story, I don't want to ruin it for you. It's really fun. And so look up, you can just look up somewhere online the story of the Holy House and then share this story together and make gingerbread houses. And that just becomes a really fun tradition in the home, as well as the Solemnity of the Immaculate Conception, which hopefully you'll also be, or already be celebrating, I should say, with Mass, the Rosary, and then we'll often wear something white or eat white food to remind us of Our Lady's purity.
Oh, nice. And I love the last one. You said you approached your parish priest about doing this at the church, and he was all for it. Explain that one real quick for us.
Yes, yeah. Bambinelli Sunday takes place on the 3rd Sunday of Advent. Families can bring their baby Jesus figurine from their nativity set at home to have them blessed. Kids love to do this, and then you can put that baby Jesus in on Christmas, and it's such a fun tradition for parish and home.
I love it. And Katie, I know we're out of time, but I do want to mention that you have a new book, Illustrated Classic Christmas Carols. I would love to talk to you in the future about that book. Maybe we can get you back on another morning, okay?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Pat.
All right. Have a blessed Advent. Bye-bye, Katie.
You too.